What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in once again to the Unofficial Therapy Podcast. This is Chris Kane. I got my man, the myth, the legend,
You
the
know, I got.
Renaissance man himself, the friend of the pod, Everett Daily. Y'all give it up for Everett real quick.
Hey,
Give it
hey,
up.
hey, what's going on, family? We back again with a what? With a what? With a mashup?
I'm
Because you know why it's a mashup? Because I'm starting my shit again too. Do, do,
back in
do.
there.
Yeah, so this is the homie show, man. This is
Okay.
the homie show. Every daily, we back again. Thank you, Chris, for letting me bring this back
Listen,
on
I'm here
the
for
the uh, the world renowned unofficial therapy podcast.
it. I
Hey,
wish.
look, man, you've been going at it for what, almost 2 years now.
It's
So
actually it's actually three. I got an update on Facebook a day ago saying my 3 year mark was like on August 12th. So this is 3 years deep, bro. We
bro, how do you feel? How do you feel, bro?
It's the longest relationship I ever had. No, no,
Oh shit.
it feels like perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
I've been known not to stick to stuff. Like over time, I've tried a lot of things, and I'll try it a little bit and get off. Try a little bit, get off.
Yeah.
And even if it was going kind of okay, like between my comedy shows and the podcast, they've had the most longevity
Yeah.
of like creative projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that we're picking up steam in year three. We're not going backwards. It's not like remember back in the good old days when the UTP was that hitter, and now it's
Right.
like he's
Right.
up here like doing like people are saying, "Hey, the podcast is getting better. The guests are
Mm-hmm.
getting better.
Yeah.
I like where the content is going.
Yeah.
It's trending upward, and so I'm happy.
It's going the right direction.
It's going the right direction. So we're gonna
And you're
keep this going, dude.
consistent, bro. And you're consistent.
People want to talk. That's the thing.
Dude, that's what. Why are we? Look, man. Especially now, there's
Yeah.
like, bro, people are forgetting how to communicate with other people.
Oh.
Me,
Mm.
me, I'm because I just haven't been around anybody, you know. So
True.
not only is it like people just want to talk, but now it's literally unofficial therapy. Like people
Dude,
need people need to get shit off their chest, bro.
people are going through a lot right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the podcast has allowed me to have a platform to not be as stressed, and it's not as a lot of people are going through it. They're just
Yeah.
Groundhog Day, jobs are in limbo,
Oh yeah.
relationships are in limbo, and so they're just all over the place. They don't have an outlet
Mm-hmm.
to talk it out,
Yeah.
or they don't get to hear from other people because, like you said, they're in the house, they're kind of locked down.
Yeah.
This is a window for people to kind of get some release, but also helps me stay sane because, listen, I low key want to be in the streets right now, but
there's
but
nothing there's nothing low key about that. If anybody that knows Chris Kane knows there's nothing low key about that. This man is from Miami. Got
yep.
all the muscles. Like ain't nothing low key about him being in these streets. Oh my god.
Listen, they don't gotta know all that. Just know like my spirit wants to be like on Rodeo, but in real life, I'm at my house. I'm in a condo.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is also like that kind of outlet,
Mm.
and you can do a lot during this quarantine if you decide you want to. That's
Yeah.
kind of what has shown me. Like I never even did Zoom really before this,
Right.
and now we've got like 20 Zoom pods, and
Yeah.
you already know the virtual show, so I know you want to
Man.
kind of hop into that a little bit.
Dude, absolutely. Like so for those who don't know,
Yeah.
uh my man Chris is like I don't even know how to. Okay, I'll say this. I'll say this.
All right.
Top three funniest dudes I know.
Okay, I'll
Right.
take that. I'll take
Top
that.
three, and you're not third.
What
So
the?
so we'll say
Top
that.
three, not third. All right,
Top
Kendrick
three, not
Lamar.
third. I don't know if you're,
Okay.
first and second is a toss up,
All right, fair enough.
But either way, that means a lot. That's good in my book, right?
I'll take it.
You know, comedian from Miami, does his damn thing, came out to LA, pursue that, and is crushing it. And instead of waiting for opportunities to fall into his lap, he's been very intentional about creating opportunities for himself. And
This dude
so
doing a whole commercial right now. I'm
oh
here for it,
yeah,
dude.
no,
I'm like, yo,
I'm just. Hey, look,
it's
man,
like,
I'm just letting the people know on my end. I'm just
mhm.
letting the people know who you are,
Okay.
and you may have seen him on a game show or two in the
You might have
background.
heard of me.
You
You
know what I'm
might have heard
saying?
of me. You might have seen me on my last effort.
Yeah,
You might have heard
you
me.
may have seen him in the audience. Just being there, just like, oh wait, that's that dude.
Yeah.
But so he started he started putting together these comedy shows in the Valley, and he's pretty well connected with all these hilarious comics, and they'll come through,
Telling people.
do their set, show love, etc. And when COVID hit, that kind of had to get you know locked up, shut down. But
Yep.
perseverance is what you kind of grabbed onto, and you continued the comedy shows virtually through
Mm.
Zoom. And I'm sure you kind of felt like a little like it wasn't going to be the same vibe, or
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
it wasn't going to be as good as of an experience.
How
Uh,
could it be? Yeah.
and I was kind of like, of course. I mean, everybody likes a comedy show in person, like that energy from the audience, and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So like, I was kind of like, okay, at least he's like doing something. So let me like hop in and see how this goes for him. Like, I'm here to support no matter what,
Appreciate that.
man. And I was moving. I'm one of the people that are going through it in quarantine. So I was like, man, I need something. So I was
It's a
like,
great
okay.
song.
So I was in the middle of moving. I was like, okay, he has a comedy show right now. Like, let me hop in. Let me show love. Let me support. Man, I hopped in there and I stopped whatever the fuck I was doing. I was supposed to be moving. I was supposed to be packing, bro. And I sat through that whole damn thing and I was cracking up. And the energy was there, bro. Like the energy that you didn't think would be there was there. And and like you said, like, bro, you got something. And so,
We got it's a bop, dude.
yeah,
It's
and even the
something.
second one, the most recent one, dude, like you one upped yourself. Like it keeps getting better, and it's really like not only is it obviously like it's a big boss move, like it's a big boss move, it's a big
Yeah.
like power move business wise, but like
Okay.
it's really healing for a lot of people. Like as you know, like comedy, it's making people laugh is
Yeah.
healing.
That's
It
medicine.
helps people through their shit, especially now it's needed more than ever. And I can say as somebody again who's like struggling with quarantine, man, anytime I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm like, man, you got to do these every week, man, cuz
It's bi-weekly.
it's
Yeah.
really good shit. It's hilarious, bro.
This is I was talking to Marvin about this, and I didn't want to do it at all. Like up until the Friday Funnies show. The next one, September 4th, by the way. One of my comedian friends, Darius Culpepper, we did a pod, and he was telling me like he's been doing a lot of shows,
Mm-hmm.
virtual shows. He's just been kind of on it, and I was like, dude, I don't even know how you do that because I like the people. I do crowd work. I'm talking to ladies. I'm giving fellas dap and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very personal element to how I do comedy. I'm not the kind of comedian who goes up there like A plus B plus C and I get off. I'm very like kind of like free flowing. And so without the audience, I was like, dude, this it's not gonna work for real. I did a couple online shows for a couple of comedy clubs out here. It
Mm-hmm.
just felt flat because it was just all comedians in a room. Some had, kind of whatever backgrounds. There's a baby in the back. One dude was watching TV during the show. I'm like, hey, you want to turn the TV off? It's
It
like,
must have been during like the playoffs or like
I don't
something.
think it was. I think he was watching like I don't know.
HGTV.
He's watching like Big Bang Theory or something. Like, hey, turn that off. Like we're doing a show. And so I was jaded to the process.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit it. This is on me. And then when he talked to me, he said basically the show has to go on, man. Just because things in life happen, don't. Cause I stopped writing. I didn't write jokes for like 3 months. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're not writing, you're not performing, like, but you want to be a comic. The show can't stop because the world's trying to stop."
Right.
So then I did like a virtual show, and it was a slightly better one. I planned the first show.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea how it was going to go. I've never been like an administrator for a show of more than one person, so I'm like, I
Right.
don't know how to manage like possibly 20, 30, 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I send Zoom links out? Like the whole thing was a lesson. It was like,
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna mess up. I know audio might drop out, video feeds might go dead.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff was kind of going off. And so I reached out to people who do Zoom shows more often than I do and asked them, what's the pitfalls? What's the good parts? And try to get their perspective. Because if I just did it by myself, I would be all over the place.
Yeah.
And once the show started, I think I kind of identified, and this is, I could have been wrong about this. I think the issue with Zoom shows that I've seen is that comedians want to replicate what they do on stage in the Zoom, but
That's
it's a
that.
different.
That's that Teddy Riley, bro. You cannot do that.
It's a different energy,
Yeah.
and what it is more is that it's the Zoom shows become by defact, like they're more de facto interactive.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want people to be a part of the show and to be kind of going back and forth. It's almost like a live podcast with comedy,
Right.
more than it is like a comedy show.
Right.
And because we do pods all the time,
Yeah.
it felt natural to kind of keep it podcasty. And I think on the first show, I think half of the comedians got the podcast element of it, and the other half were trying to do their sets.
Right.
And the ones who did the podcast element did tremendously well. Like people were like, "Oh, I love it." They're just like ranting and they're just kind of talking. And the
Yeah.
ones who were like trying to do like A plus B were like, man, I'm not getting laughs
It,
because
it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work.
re-
It's
yeah,
and the other thing is that I noticed, you know, I'm like ultra observant, but the other thing that I noticed is it makes the audience feel like they're more involved because it's not like the
yeah,
audience is in the audience in the dark
yeah,
looking up to the comic, right? It's the audience is their screen is right next to the comic. Like they can
same
see they're
box,
looking
yeah,
at themselves and the comic, so everybody's on the same level. So there's just a sense of there's just like a sense of involvement like that the audience feels, like, oh, I'm actually part of this too.
yeah.
But also, also having like a respectful audience too like makes it a lot
That
better.
helps. That
It
helps.
definitely helps, because that was one of the things that I was kind of worried about. Like I was like, yo, like I hope these people are respectful and they don't fucking unmute themselves and like heckling on Zoom. Like how trashy would that? And like then you can't hear the comic because this
Yeah.
person's like, ah, yeah, like, hey, mute yourself. Like, oh, sorry, I was just like, yeah, like nobody. So that was one thing that I was worried about. But like, dude, like you just have, and even Ron G, he was talking about it. He was like, yeah, I don't, or not Ron G.
Darius.
Darius was talking about it, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh man, like I just don't like these Zoom comedian or these Zoom shows because there's always heckling or like some audio thing." But both times, man, you've just had like very fun audience, like respectful,
Yeah.
but and audiences also like they know when it's okay to kind of like say something and like make a comment. And the comedians that you choose, like they're so good at what they do that they can adjust to that. It then turns into like a Zoom call where you're like roasting each other and like
Yeah.
it just feels so natural, man. Like it just feels like just a funny conversation that like me, you, and Marv will have. You know what I mean? But now there's
Yeah.
like 20 people in there. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, something about it. It just feels. It just community is the word that I really gravitate towards when I think of
Yeah.
your shows. It just like really builds a sense of community, and then it's also nice to like see the same faces, and you're like, oh man, like, oh, we're
Yeah.
back again, and like, oh, remember last week? Like it's almost like, yeah, it's almost just like a reunion, but now you got professional comedians that
Yeah.
are just making it that much more enjoyable. You know what I mean? So
It's an interesting thing, and we average at this point, I think 38 people per show, which is awesome.
that's
Like that's a,
really
that's
good.
that's a nice. The first show I think did like 44. The next one did like 36 or 35, and it kind of averaged out whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's even the attendance level is kind of crazy,
Yeah.
and I can't call it. Like I'm not gonna say, oh, the show is running this way because I'm that dude, and they just take it there. Like I'm not. That's
Right.
not my personality type.
Right.
But there's two elements that I think work, and the one is that, like you said, community. I think people just feel connected,
Yep.
and when you connect to people, then it resonates with them.
Yeah.
in whatever respect it is, politicians have to connect with people for them to get votes. If your teacher doesn't connect with you as a student, you don't listen to what they say. If your parents don't find you on the same level, it doesn't work.
Right.
Connection is the key to everything.
Yep.
And if people feel like you're not connected to them, then they kind of tune you out. That's when they turn their screen off. They look away. They get up and start walking around.
Yeah.
When they're engaged and they feel like you can talk to them, they can talk back to you. It feels like a conversation. It
That
feels like we're all in this together. We're the same. My box is the same size the box yours is.
exactly.
I'm just the one talking right now.
Yep.
And so
That's exactly it. And Marv has been doing a great job
he's out of
of that.
control. This is his bag right now. He's completely out of control.
He's been doing a great job of that though, man. Like he just getting everybody involved. Like it's almost like he's just he's usually like on the back end of the show, in terms of like order, and
Yeah.
it just almost seems like he's just like going through everybody's box and just like plotting like, all right, what am I gonna say to get everybody involved? Everybody gets a chance to like feel like they're part of this, and feeling needed or feeling recognized right now is huge, especially for people that aren't working, especially for people that are being really diligent about staying at home and not seeing anybody else, and who don't have like family and friends close by. Like, so like just the little shout outs like go a long way. So
It's a lot, dude.
yeah, but
There's a lot of
Marvin is out of control. Like that's the other thing. He
Listen,
takes it to a whole nother fucking level. So
I've had to cut this dude off multiple times, and the other element that I think works, other than like, because what Marvin's doing is how we communicate normally. So like, if we reverse the roles, if he was the host of the show and I was a comic, I would be doing what he's doing, and he would have to like pull me in because I'm running a show.
right,
I have to keep it on the tracks. I can't just have him just going crazy.
yeah,
Because people might get antagonized and they may not want to come back.
Right.
But the other element to the show is that a lot of comedians do virtual shows, don't have an attachment to it. Just like doing most things virtually. Like it's like going to class online. You don't
Right.
get dressed, you don't get as prepped. You can kind of put it on in the background, go do other stuff. A lot of the comedians were doing online shows just to kind of be performing,
right,
but they weren't attached to the show. So they would come in and kind of mail it in, look late. They'll be eating food during their set. One of the things we implemented for the show is that we had the audience like tip the comics. And I told the comics beforehand, the way you perform directly correlates to how much money you can make.
right,
Because I always send some money anyway, even though we're not making a ton of money from this, but it's more like the idea that you should get paid for your work. So I lose money on the front end because I'm not just pocketing all them. I'm not some like
Right.
some misery type person,
right,
but I don't have enough money to pay them probably what they're actually worth.
for
But
sure,
you usually pay to do virtual shows or you do
Right.
them for free.
right,
So if you make $15, $20, that's a come up, but that's not a lot of money objectively. But
and
if people know that if I perform well, I can get 2 from this person, 3 from this, 5 from this. There's comedians making $20, $30 off these shows from performing, and they're doing 8-minute sets. That's
from the
more than you would
comfort
get
from the
paid
comfort of their home, they're
from the comfort of
talking
their home.
on it like, bro, yeah, and imagine this, man, imagine this. Word of mouth, like this keeps spreading through word of mouth, like more and more people, more and more like I see, like I don't know if you have a I don't know if you have a
I had a
vision.
vision.
I don't know
I
if
had
you
a
have a
vision.
vision for it. You do have a vision.
I do.
I see it becoming a like
Like a
very
thing.
popular thing where people are going to like there aren't going to be enough Zoom spots. You know what I mean? There aren't. It's or like there aren't going to be enough Zoom spots, or it's going to like go to like your own platform where where you have to where people are going to try and bootleg it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like
In the barbershop. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I got that Zoom show.
I got that
Zoom
show. I got that last Zoom show from Chris Kane's comedy show. You know what I'm saying?
get it.
Comedy Jam. So I definitely see it becoming something that could be like very profitable. I mean, mostly profitable for you, but very profitable for the other comics. You know what I mean? Just like based off of the popularity of it. Especially as you like, especially as you learn how to like elevate it and like make it
That's where we are
a
now.
much
Yeah.
more like a much more interactive experience and like you know what I mean, like quality, all of those things is like as you get closer and closer, like more and more of that, like people are just really gonna like, oh shit, this is man, I've been waiting. It's almost gonna be like the Tyson fight. You know what I mean? People are gonna
Oh,
pay per view, baby. You
they
know?
pushed that back. Yeah, the point we are at now is I think we have a base formula that more or less works.
Mm-hmm.
This is a personality driven Zoom.
Totally.
Ultimately, like
Yep.
'cause Zoom as a platform is not mine, and it's not even a special platform. We use it for everything,
Right.
meetings. We're using it for the pod right now.
Yep.
So platform is whatever it is. My personality has a lot to do with I have a vision for how I want the show to be.
Right.
So there's elements of that. But to grow the show is where we are now. And I'm reaching out to higher profile people. Excuse me. Because I think they're reposting and them putting it out, at least their audience being drawn in. And it's because I know a lot of talented people who don't have followers.
Right.
That's kind of what the first two, other than Ron, who has a pretty good following.
Yeah.
Like everyone else on the show, 1,000, 2,000 followers. Like we're all kind of in that low level range,
Right.
but we're not titans in the industries at all.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to people with, over 50, some up to 100, whatever, then just more eyeballs get to see that it's even a thing. A lot of people don't even know it's a thing, but if they
Right.
saw the show, they would say, I want to be a part of this next show. So I'm reaching out to higher profile people
Mm-hmm.
to try to entice them to come into the show. So then now their audience can just be exposed to it.
Yeah.
And once their audience is exposed to it, then it becomes a ripple effect.
Yeah.
They tell their friends, yo, I don't know who this dude, sexy comedy Chris Kane is, but he did a show with one of my favorite comics, and that was a vibe,
And it was
man.
crazy, bro. I'm telling
Then
you.
it kind of grows.
Here's
That's
the
where my head
thing,
is
man,
right
and
now.
that just happened for me. Like I didn't know who Ron G was, bro.
Ron's that dude. He hosts
And
Chocolate Sundays
bro,
at the
I don't
Comedy
know what,
Store.
I didn't know what chocolate Sundays were, bro. And I was,
Oh,
and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not, but that's the thing. Like your audience isn't in that world,
mm,
right? And so after because I coming to support y'all, and after I sat there and I was fucking cracking up listening to this man Ron, I'm like, bro.
he's great.
Oh, I followed him. I see all his posts. I'm like, oh man, but that's how it works. That's
Yeah,
how it works. You tell a friend, come through. They enjoy what they see, and that's that. So
it picks up, man, and it's worth. I'm thinking of like more interactive things for the audience too, where I have a situation where, and I may implement this for the next show. It hasn't been decided because the lineup is still not set in stone yet.
right,
Hopefully that's done by the weekend, but I'm
yeah,
already like reaching out. I want to have a segment where the audience, someone in the audience can like show off their talent and then they can win a prize or win some exposure
mm-hmm,
because there are people who we always have one artist like singer on the show. First show was Lauren Chase. Second show was Kayla Rose. Both are very talented.
I missed it. I came late.
You miss
Sorry.
Kayla and Lauren? You miss both?
I miss both, bro.
Oh,
Every time I set
mm,
the alarm on my phone, like, okay, it's at 6:30.
yeah.
I'm always dealing with this fucking dog, and then I'm like, oh fuck, it's already 7 o'clock, and then I hop in and I hear y'all talking about, man, that was just amazing, and I'm like, fuck, I miss it every goddamn time.
That's unfortunate you missed it because both of them were amazing.
I'm
But
sure they
my
were.
point is, the point is, there are a lot of people who can sing who just, they sing at church, they sing like in their own little bubble. They're just not as exposed.
Right.
And once they kind of see how the audience is responding to the comedians and the other performers,
Mm-hmm.
there's always someone who feels like maybe I want to try 3 minutes of comedy. Maybe I want to try to get this song off and just see how it vibes.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to like further engage the audience,
Mm-hmm.
but also to appreciate somebody. Because if you're talented and maybe you just don't want to be an artist, you just feel like you have a good voice,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to give you some appreciation. And that recognition alone is enough for a lot of people. So I think that's a segment that I'm thinking I might even implement in this upcoming show on the 4th. I'm thinking I got to figure out how to do it logistically, but I want to do like a performer of the night championship belt kind of situation
Bro.
where the audience gets to vote on who they think was their favorite and they
Oh,
win like a virtual.
you trying to turn into virtual Apollo, bro?
Bro, low key, yeah.
Ain't nothing low key, bro. This is a
Well,
virtual.
okay, high key.
I can't.
High
It's
key,
a
I want this to
virtual
be
Apollo.
it's like who gets the championship crown
That
the
that
strap.
might, hey, if they're anything like me, that might hurt their egos a little bit if they don't get the.
Listen,
If
I'm just it's
somebody
not
else is like, hey, you didn't win. Yeah, you got 0 votes.
well. I may even keep it anonymous. I may just
That's fair.
because it will come with some kind of cash prize. So
Yeah,
everyone's making a little bit of money anyway from tips and that kind of thing.
right.
But if you win performer of the night, I don't have to announce it to the world, but you may just look in your Venmo. You got a little present in
You
there.
got a little something in there.
Like, what's that extra present? Oh, you were the crowd favorite.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I,
just just so the comics know, someone's gonna win the award. Just check your Venmo, check your Cash
yeah,
App.
yeah. I would definitely say don't announce it in front of the audience because
It's all fluid.
that could be a dagger for
That's what I'm
sure.
saying. That's what I'm saying. These are all ideas. I'm trying to put them. I think the audience performing thing is a good element. We can do that immediately. And I think the idea of knowing you're gonna get an appearance fee, tips for the show, and possibly like a performer of the night. Think of like UFC. They
Right.
always have like a fight of the night person.
Yep.
So it may not even be the championship fight. It may be an undercard person has the
Right.
greatest knockout. They get like 50,000.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that kind of thing where it's like there's multiple opportunities for you to make money doing this, and it keeps people engaged because then having people vote is also a way of engaging people.
Right.
And here your vote counts. So
Whoa. Hey, hear your vote count. If you need to vote and you know it's gonna count,
right.
come through. That's
So
so crazy. That's
so it's
wild.
that it's wild, but I'm really excited for this. It really started as kind of a let me just see how this goes, and immediately it became a this is a possibly viable thing going forward because my family's on the East Coast,
Right.
all of them.
Right.
I don't have anybody in California,
Yeah.
and some of them have never seen me. Even when I lived in the East Coast, they were like in their own space doing their own. I was in Miami, they were like in Gainesville, whatever.
Yeah.
Now that I could just send a link, like my uncle's he's called a couple shows and he's in his late 60s. He's never really seen me perform before. And he's like, "Yo, nephew, I saw you out there, man. I'm happy." I'm like, "That's dope," because you've never seen me, and he would never come to a 10 o'clock show in Miami. Like, he lives in
Right.
Jacksonville. That's a 6 hour drive. So
That's fire, bro. That's
for them,
dope. That's
it's
dope.
a it's kind of cool, man. To be able to, we had a comedian from New York on the show. So we had New York,
Oh,
we
that's
had
right.
Miami and
What was her name?
LA.
What was her name?
Surah.
Surah. That's what I thought. She was funny.
Surah's from Miami. Yeah, she's from Miami, but she just lives in New York right now.
Yeah.
And I know Sue back in Miami forever, and I've reached out to her, say, "I'm in New York." I'm like, same time zone. So the idea that we can have comedians from different states plug in, because sometimes I know funny people and they move on to New York, they move on to Chicago or Boston,
Right.
and it's like, oh well, they left, so now we can't have them on the show anymore. It's like, nah,
Nah.
we just might make sure we got the right time zone. You're in the Mountain West, cool. You're an hour behind me or whatever. Log in at this time. Now we can kind of plug in from different ports of the country, and it makes everything kind of come together a little bit more.
Is Do you think that this is going to be something that you continue through? Um, is it going to be something that you continue like once quarantine is lifted and everything is good? Like, are you going to want to do like your continue to do your live shows
Yeah, of
when
course.
everything is lifted, but also continue to build on this?
There will probably be a once a month virtual thing,
Okay.
and then like the live shows would maybe be so maybe do 2 shows a month, one virtual, one live. Because usually I do one live show a month. Up until COVID, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because the amount of time it takes to get tickets, book a lineup,
Yeah. That's real.
promote it, it's a lot of energy that goes into a live show. And when it turns out well, then it's amazing.
Yeah.
You look in the audience and it's full house, you're just like,
Yeah.
But when it doesn't turn out well, it was a rough one. Let me tell you something.
Look, man. Like,
It's rough.
I see your show. Like, I'm trying to think of how I see your show, like the live shows. It's almost like what it. It's almost like a boxing match, right? Some and I'll say you're gonna laugh why.
Okay. I hope so.
Because one thing that people love about boxing matches are the people that show up at the boxing match. And while I love the comics that you have at your shows, but I also really enjoy the people that show up to your shows.
There's some stars. There's some stars out there.
The audience, like, while they're like, I'll say this: there are just good people that show up,
Yeah.
and they're good people to connect with because everybody's so interesting, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
um, you have a very like good you a very good group of people that support you.
I
You know
think
what I
so. Yeah.
mean? And on top of that, they're not bad looking either, bro. That's what I'm saying. If I'm telling you, if a dude comes to your show, if a dude
It's
comes to your
awesome.
guys' show, and is just expecting to see like some jokes, they're gonna come back.
You
They're
get in
gonna
the
come back
show.
because it's more than just jokes.
It's phenomenal out
Remember
there.
when Comic View used to have like those dancers in the,
Of course.
what I'm saying, and everybody, there'd be like some people like up there watching the comics, and then there'd be other dudes just like this, like watching the dancers.
Dude, it is very distracting when you're trying to get a good show off and you look in the lobby and you just see stars.
Man, man.
But it also is motivating because as a guy, you want to be better because you want to impress them. And that's,
Hmm.
whatever. That's some ego stuff.
Right.
But if you're funny though, then they support and they come back and because as a comic and you do music, so you've probably done the opposite side of it. I can tell a girl I'm a comedian. In fact, I say it as fast as I can because
Right.
I need them to know I don't have any money. I need them to
So what is the
offer
difference between that and music, bro? Like what?
because it's different. You can sing anywhere. You can't just do comedy anywhere.
That's not true,
What do you
bro.
mean?
You
If
be
you have a
slanging,
guitar,
bro. You slang jokes all the time.
I'm comical all the time, but I'm not doing my act all the time.
Got you. Got
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Like you can pull a guitar out at a restaurant and just go, and no one's gonna stop you. They'll be like, "This guy's pretty good." If I just pull a microphone, what's the deal with airline food? You get the fuck out of here. They're throwing me out of here. I can't do that. So I always say I'm a comedian as soon as I can. And the next question is, "Are you funny?" And I say, "Yeah, I think I'm funny. Why would I tell you I'm a comedian if I didn't think I
Why
was?"
would I? Yeah,
But
exactly.
then when they see you perform, they see you in your element. And how I am in real life is like an approximation of how I am on stage.
Right.
I'm low in real life. I'm kind of chill most of the time.
Hmm.
I'm goofy. I'm tell jokes, but I'm a homebody. I'm I don't wear crazy stuff. I'm not a loud person.
Right.
On
Right.
stage I can be because that's what the act demands.
Yeah.
So when they see me actually perform, they get to see me in a different element, in a different space.
Yeah.
And I think they usually are attracted to someone doing their passion and if they're doing it well. So again, this is predicated on me doing a good set. If I do a bad set, then it goes opposite. I've definitely
It's
had a
not.
girl be like, I've had a girl be like, he's cute. And I got on stage and bombed. It was like, well, it's nice meeting you. And I'm like,
Ah!
probably had
Hey,
that
I'll
comment.
say this, bro. I'll say this much, bro. I'm really glad I'm not a comedian. I
Why?
it just seems like it's so scary, bro. Like I'm not
It
even
can
gonna
be.
yeah, I'm not even gonna front. Like here's why.
All right.
These are the thoughts that I have about it.
Let's hear it.
Because there are sometimes when I watch you and Marvin, I'm like, man, and Chloe thinks I'm like one of the funniest people ever, and I'm like, man, maybe I should like try it. Like maybe like one time and see
Sure.
how it goes, right? And I also think of like, okay, then what if it goes really well? And then I just like keep going, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I worry about like, man, what if I just only have like three jokes forever? And I keep and like
Oh.
and the same people come through and like,
Oh,
nigga,
okay.
I heard, boo, I heard that one
That
last
happens.
week.
That happens sometimes.
I know it does, and that's why I'm like, ooh, like so when I see it, I'm like, ooh, yeah, not gonna, I don't, no,
You can write new jokes. Like
yeah, but then
there's
that's,
no limit.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Mixtape, no limit.
But a lot of people don't write new jokes
That's the thing. I don't think,
for two reasons.
yeah,
One, they're lazy. You want to rest on your laurels. You've gotten some success. You want to do what you've been doing.
right, right.
The other part is you don't think you can top your old jokes, and so
Ooh,
you keep yeah, and that's the
you know
scarier
what?
part.
That is exactly like music. That is exactly like music.
Yep.
Because there are some people, and I am definitely guilty of doing this at one point, a few times. Is I sometimes I do get lazy, but I don't really see my music as like work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like not something I'm pursuing. It's just something I like to do. But the other part of it is like sometimes I just kind of like like if I have a hitter, I'll ride that hitter for years, bro. I'll
Yeah.
just be like, I don't know if I can top this, you know. And so I just won't. I just won't. I just won't come up with a new song, or I
It
will,
happens, man.
and it won't get the same reaction as the hitter did, right? And so I'll just be like, let's just go back to the hitter, you
That
know.
happened to Blueface with Tatiana. He couldn't get that flame back.
Hey, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing about Blueface, bro. Any song that he puts out is entertaining. Like the Tatiana, like I'm pretty sure he came out with the song after that,
He
and
came out like 2 or 3 songs. They just
I
didn't go.
enjoyed them because they're
Yeah.
just like they're funny. That's the thing. He's a funny rapper to me. But anyway, like Blueface, yeah, you're right. Like one hitter quitter. Like who's like another one hit wonder.
What's the dude from the Black Country dude? Lil Nas X is at that issue, I think, a little
Oh,
bit. Trying to get like
he had two hitters.
the Panini or whatever.
He had Panini. Yeah,
But
Panini.
Panini didn't hit nearly as hard as Old Town
Of
Road
course
did.
not, because Old Town Road is the biggest song of all time,
But
bro.
I'm saying since Panini, that was what, almost a year ago?
Yeah, he not coming out with nothing else. Yeah, you're
What
right.
maybe he is, but I'm saying
Yeah,
his standard. He's almost like it's not as far gone as 50 Cent "Get Rich or Die Trying," but
right.
it has elements of that where it's like that
Yeah,
song was number one for how long was Old Town Road number one for? Half the year at least. I feel
long enough to make it the number one song of all time.
it's the number one song, so it's like there's no way you can make a song that's going to be out. That's like Michael Jackson coming out with Thriller, and then
Right,
his next song being better than Thriller. It's like not
right,
in the lexicon, but like in terms of it being received.
right.
So
But
he
but
knows I
but
can't
here's
ever
the,
get to that level again.
but here's the thing though is you can. It's just it might not happen when you expect it to. That's the thing. That's the thing about music. And literally, and you know this,
Yeah.
like my nigga Tank, bro.
Oh, that man.
Bro, I literally have always looked up to him musically, right?
Yeah.
And him and Jay were talking on here on their podcast, talking about how, and they were talking to like Eric Bellinger, I think,
Mhm.
and they were talking about how like like sometimes when you have a hit, like you might not have another one for 10 years, but
That's
you just got to
crazy.
keep cranking out songs, and just be confident that like one of them's gonna stick. They're
Yeah.
not like they're not all gonna. Most of them aren't gonna stick. Most of them aren't gonna be a hit. But he was just saying he's like maybe I deserve that was a hit that put me on,
Yeah.
right? And then he didn't have another hitter until like without Drake, right? Because he had that
Yeah.
celebration song, right? But he
Yeah.
didn't have like another hitter until Please Don't Go, which was like what, like 5 years later, and then after that,
Like maybe TGT days.
not
Was that
even
the next?
those weren't hits, bro. Those weren't hits. Sorry, those weren't hits.
I need was a hit. You can say what you want, boy. That
I don't. I need was a, a good song, but it wasn't a hit. It wasn't a hit. It was a single that was a good song, but it wasn't a hit.
it was a hit in my house.
It was
Let me just say that.
Nah, but a hit like his next hit after that was fucking When We. Like that
What was it
was,
do?
and you know what I mean. So it's just like, so like musically, like yeah, like you got to just keep. He's been always working. Like
Yeah.
he's never stopped, and he's what 30 years into the game, maybe
Just about.
maybe
Like he's
uh,
he got in. He's like almost 25 years in.
okay, 25 years into the game,
Yeah.
and that's how long 25 years in the game, and you have like hits that you can count on your hand. That's the type of like that means like you really gotta love that music shit. So with comedy,
Jokes are a lot different. Like
no, but I'm saying I mean if you
yeah,
condense
specials.
like like the amount of joke, like if you condense it all into like how long you do comedy for, you know what I mean, like and like the frequency of jokes that you can crank
Right.
out, you know what I mean, like not every joke is gonna hit, you know what I
Most
mean.
of them don't.
Most of them don't, but the ones
Most of
but
them.
the ones that do put you on and put you to the next level. Kev, you know what I mean, like most of his jokes don't hit,
Yeah.
but the ones that do put him to the next level. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like And I can go down the list. The only person who's like who I can think of like every single one of their jokes hit is Chappelle. That's like honestly, I feel like all every single one of his jokes hit.
And I'm sure he would tell you the number ones that didn't.
Oh yeah.
That he would like that he'd probably be like, "Oh, you think that joke hit? Nah, you should have seen me when I did that joke 2 months prior in Indiana.
Uh,
The crowd fell out when I did the special. Because again, the specials performed in front of an audience.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just because your jokes are as refined as they've ever been
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean the audience is as receptive to it.
Right.
You would assume it's your audience because they came to see you.
Right.
But I've done the same set for 3 to 4 weeks
Mm-hmm.
at various locations,
And
and
they've hit
sometimes
they've
people
hit
are like,
different.
"Yeah, that's the funniest set I've ever heard in my life." Some people are like, "Oh, you okay? That's cool."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That's cool." 2 days ago, they were trying to sign me up with an agency, like, and you don't know how it's
Right.
gonna go.
Right.
And that's why you just, as a comic, you have to keep writing because we observe the world, and that's where we get our comedy from. We
Mm-hmm.
get in relationships, that's comedy. You have kids, that's comedy. Your job is comedy. The world is comedy.
Yeah.
And because stuff is always happening. I don't understand how you don't keep trying to write. And
Mm-hmm.
Marvin and I was talking about this because Marvin wrote a couple of new bits on our last show. And after the show, we kind of conferred a little bit. I said, that idea you have is a good idea, but because he wrote it maybe a week ago, it's far from being fleshed out. The
Right.
premise is funny.
Right.
And so I said, you have a good premise. Once you actually write, unpack it, that may be, he did like a 2 minute set of it. That can probably be a 5 to 7 minute bit
Mm-hmm.
good once he kind of gets into it. And I've been throwing newer jokes out every show because I'm the host. I can't come back with new stuff. So I'm already writing newer stuff for this upcoming show than I didn't do the week before, the week before that.
Right.
And a couple of the jokes, like I had a joke in the first show you probably didn't see, where I'm going to burn it now
Damn.
because people
Yeah.
should see the show.
He just hit me with the quick little jab. Probably didn't
No,
see
it's fine. Whatever.
because I
You're
was
too
late.
busy. You're late.
I
It's
was
fine.
moving. I was late.
And so the joke was basically um, wearing a mask is required. We all get it. But for girls, if you're cute normally, it kind of takes some of your cute away because we can't see your lips and your nose and all that stuff. But what it does magnify is how big your forehead is. And so, so you can try to trick us with the eyeliner and the mascara and the Batman wings, but when you got an iPad on top of your head, that's all I see. I don't even see your eyeshadow. My eyes just naturally go up to your forehead, and I start doing a thing where I just like my head starts ticking back slowly, as if I'm watching a TV show. Like, what are you looking at? I'm sorry, I was watching ET.
Oh
What just
my god!
and
You don't
so
have
like
dreams, you have
that's
movies.
right. But just like and that bit, and so Marvin took that and he remixed it on the show we just did
Mm-hmm.
when he was talking about people's
Ah,
baby hair and that kind of stuff,
got you.
which is fine because
Yeah.
our jokes come from different places.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the point is, that's just something I wrote just for that show. But if I really want to get into it and kind of flesh it out, that can be a 2 to 3 minute set because
Mm-hmm.
like it really does. And I talked about how I didn't realize how important eyebrows were until the mask came into effect. Because I'm a dude. I don't give a fuck about eyebrows. But when all I see is eyes and eyebrows, I'm
Wait,
like,
wait. But I know you've gotten compliments on your eyebrows, though, bro.
yeah, I have because I'm a
But you don't give
dude.
a fuck.
I was born with these eyebrows. I'm a dude.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't go to a person and they do
Right.
the
They
thing.
do the
I
whole
just
thing. The whole
I
thing.
wake up. But
Yeah.
girls know
They.
when someone's had the thing done and they know that's a good job with the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got that top part like super washed and then they draw in the bottom little loop.
Look.
My family's Caribbean. We
Oh.
just got it.
So you just
So
yeah.
so it's so like I don't care about it even though other people appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
when I see it now, I've noticed during the quarantine when girls let it go, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw it get turned into caterpillars.
Look, bro.
And then I saw them when they got it done right, and I saw that beautiful little
Look.
that little rainbow. I was like,
Look.
oh,
Look. So here's the deal. So my girl, she, I don't think she, I think it was probably 3 to 4 months of her eyebrows not getting done, and she has like naturally very bushy eyebrows.
yeah,
And it didn't really bother me at all. Like I was just kind
we're
of like,
dudes.
we've been together for 7 years. Like I've seen, it's like okay, like whatever. I'm not tripping, right? But when she got them things done and came back
You're like,
into the house, I was like,
who that? dude, it makes a big difference.
Whoa, who, girl, your face look
It changes.
good. It changed, dude. You never really think about it, they notice it. They're like, oh my god, I gotta get my eyebrows
It's
done.
a
They're
big deal.
fucking caterpillars, and I'm just sitting here like, bro, they're just eyebrows. But then when she got them done, I was like,
They're not just eyebrows.
oh,
They are
yeah. I'm really glad that you got those done.
the eyebrows are a face enhancer, dude. And that's
Mm,
and so when I did that bit, I talked about going on a date with a girl and her
mm,
eyebrows weren't even.
yeah.
And she's talking to me about her life. And I'm like, well, what's up with that left eyebrow, though? Like, what's going on that side of your face? Because that's all I see right
she
now.
had the
And
rock.
all
She had the
and
rock
all
going
the
on.
like, and all the girls and all the girls in the audience were like dying laughing. And guys were laughing too. And it was like I wrote that like a day or two before the show. It was just something I was going through my head.
Yeah, man.
But that's something that once we kind of free up a little bit, that's something I may try out on real stage, and I
Yeah.
think it'll go pretty well. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't write that thinking, "Yo, this is gonna kill the crowd."
It's
I
gonna
just
hit.
thought
Yeah.
we all have to wear masks. This is a basic observation.
Mm-hmm.
How people's faces look with the mask on.
Right.
Let me just put it out there, and the bit worked as far as the Zoom show goes,
Yeah.
and we'll try it out in real life. But the idea that comedians do the same jokes over and over, I get that there's a reforming process. You got to get the joke to be as polished as possible. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of the process.
Yeah.
Once it is though, and you keep doing it, like that's the only thing you can do, then unless you're doing a special where you're just building blocks of elements and you got to keep it all cohesive so you can shoot your special without it being kind of messed up.
Yeah.
If you're not shooting a special and you're doing the same jokes 2 3 years later the same way, I'm just gonna assume you're either scared or lazy.
Yeah. What would you? Okay, so let's say Everett wants to do
This guy.
wants to do it. This is a hypothetical, like
Sure it
in
is.
a different universe. Let's
All
say
right.
I said, hey Chris,
Mm-hmm.
I wanna go. I wanna do a 5 minute set.
Okay.
Where do I start?
I would say, and I've had this conversation recently actually. So this is you caught me at a good time. I would say it's gonna go way faster than you think it's gonna go. Like a 5 minute set written down in real life is like a 2.5, 3 minute set when you're new to comedy because you don't understand pauses in the jokes. You don't want to wait. You're so anxious about finishing a joke that you actually rush all the jokes.
Mm,
So write 7 minutes and it'll probably end up being five. So that's the first big thing. The second thing is the most simple thing. Talk about what you know. That seems so simple.
yeah.
Yeah, I see comedians on stage trying to tell jokes they think are going to work instead of talking about what they know.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the virtual shows where I said people want to connect and that's why it works. People want to connect with your material or they want to have a shared experience on some level.
Right.
So you talking about getting engaged and moving in with your girl. You probably have 5 to 7 minutes of all the things that have changed since y'all got engaged.
Yeah.
And there's people in the audience who are married or engaged who would immediately be like, yes, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
There'd be single people who'd be like, is that what it's like for real? But
Right.
that's not your audience anyway.
Right.
Talk about your thing. You can talk about how you guys moved your boxes in and some of your boxes came up missing. It's like, hey, I thought I had 6 boxes. I only see three here. It's like,
Right.
oh, guess they got lost in transit.
Right.
Like, so I
Or
so
like,
just threw my
oh,
stuff with.
right. Like, oh, I guess like,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
it's funny how all your
oh, looks
boxes
like
made
your
in.
things are in the my. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a simple little whatever line.
Mm-hmm.
But to married people and to dudes especially, they'll be like, of course, you move in, your beanbag chair gets thrown away. You're talking fish on the wall gets thrown away. Your football helmets get thrown away.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this. Let me ask you this. How do you take your own experiences
Mm,
and make them funny? Because the thing is,
yeah.
I talk to my friends about like, oh man, this is what happened today, and like and like there'll be like a few chuckles, be like, oh, that's just some things are just inherently funny, but
Sure.
like how do you elevate, how do you kind of structure it for
Mm,
comedic purposes?
gotcha. It's two ways. There's probably more than that. I'm saying two ways. Like that's all you can do. There's books on comedy, but there's also no book on this.
Right.
The easiest element is hyperbole. You make a regular story more outlandish.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's, so it's based in true events, but you just just embellish it and just make it way more than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounds funnier, but it sounds vaguely believable, but it's also probably not what happened.
Right.
And so that's funny. Like that's funny because you take something, you just kind of make it bigger. Um, I had a second element. I completely forgot what it was now.
It's fine. You know what I wanted to ask you?
What was that?
Something completely unrelated.
Okay. I
This.
wonder. I'm trying to remember this part now.
Oh, well, we can come back to it, but I need to ask this because this pissed me off.
Okay.
These motherfucking comparisons of
Uh,
Damian Lillard and my guy, the GOAT, Stephen Curry.
I mean, I get why they compare them.
No. Okay, why? Why do you why
They,
how do we compare the greatest shooter of all time, two-time MVP, one of those time unanimous, versus somebody who's never won the MVP and doesn't have a ring? How do we compare that?
well, listen, you comparing their resumes is not the same. They play the same position for starters. They're both known to shoot deep threes. That's a second thing. Dame had a better year than him last year, even though he got pushed to second team All NBA and they gave Steph first team. That's a thing. They played in the playoffs last year. That's the thing. So I don't get what like how can I compare the two?
So did Seth. So are we comparing Seth Curry to Steph Curry? No.
That's disrespectful on a lot of levels, and you know it is. Because Steph Curry has never even been a starter. This is like you
Okay.
talk.
Okay.
Dame
Okay.
Lillard has been an All
Dame
NBA
just
performer.
Dame just became. I mean, he got snubbed, but Dame just
He should have
became
been first team All NBA. He
he
should have been
just
first team All
became an
NBA
all
last year.
star. He just became an all star.
To be
I've always
to
here's
be fair though, he lost out to Russell, who was MVP. James Harden was MVP. Steph, who was an MVP.
that's what I'm saying though.
So
That's
it's
what I'm
like,
saying. Are we
yeah.
like?
But it's a vote though. It's
here's
not like it doesn't mean he wasn't
let
better
me
than those
let me
guys.
say this. Dame is having a like. I'll say that I love Dame. He's from the Bay. He's from Oakland. I fuck with Dame. I wish he was on the Warriors.
Yeah.
There's like, you can't sit here and compare Russell Westbrook and Stephen Curry. Like
No, but people don't.
and
Their
what I'm
game
saying.
plays are different. Yeah.
Their game plays are different. But even if you did, you would pick one over the other. It's like there's not even a question, right? You can. It's better to compare James Harden and Steph Curry. It's better to compare those two,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But you
I
would
can-
still
I
pick
can-
one over the other. If you're
And I wouldn't even compare James and Steph just because I think their game plays are different too.
they're different. They're different.
I think Dame and Steph compare better than any other comparison you mentioned so far.
But one's better than the other, and it's not even
One,
close.
listen. This is my experiment in these kind of conversations. If you take Steph off the Warriors and put him on the Blazers and put Dame on the Warriors, would the Warriors have still been in the finals and winning? Because I think they would have been. That doesn't mean Steph's not better than him. But if you tell me Dame, Clay, Draymond, Iggy, and then add KD at some point, I think they still win a chip. But I don't think the Blazers would be as good.
Let me say this. I'm thinking of Stephen Curry before KD. I'm thinking of that Steph.
Okay.
I'm thinking of Steph at his peak and Dame at his peak, which is right now. Dame is at his peak right now.
No.
I'm thinking Steph at his peak and Dame like
their stats are almost identical. Like I'm sure you've seen them side by side. Steph's unanimous year, he averaged 30.1, and Dame averaged like 30.3 this year. He averaged 8. I think he averaged like 6 or 7 assists. Steph is like 6.5. They both are like at 5 rebounds. Dame is like a 92% free throw shooter. Steph is like a 93% free throw shooter. Mm-hmm. And I think their steals per game is about the same. Like their stats are real. They're almost the same stats. It just so happens that Steph his year won 73 games and Dame won like 40. That's the difference. But their actual stats, like shooter percentage, 3%, they're like, you can look them up. They're damn near the same.
Stats are all fine and dandy. Fine and dandy.
Sure.
But getting that championship.
He had a better team. He's always had a better team.
Every team has a leader, bro. Every team has a leader. And
Dame is
clearly the leader of the Blazers. Everybody.
I get that.
Steph is the leader of the Warriors.
All right.
The difference is Steph is able to take his team and finish the job.
Let's flip the question.
And I'm taking the KD year out of it because that's a
Well, it's
like
2 years.
that's a oh
It's
I'm
actually
sorry.
3 years, but it's like
I'm
not really.
talking about before. I'm talking about before KD. I'm talking about
So
before
they're
KD.
1-1 in the finals years when they won one with when they beat Dellavedova and no Kyrie in that year,
Yep.
and then they lost the 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if you put Steph on the Blazers, do you think they would have been a conference? They went to the conference championship last year. So do you think? Do
If
you
I if I
think
take if I take if I take
Steph?
prime Stephen Curry, prime Steph, because here's
Sure,
here's one thing that has happened. Steph has gotten used to the chemistry that he's built with the guys, right?
sure.
He's that is and Steve Kerr, like, he's gotten used to that relationship, right? So therefore he doesn't have to work nearly as hard as he used to have to. Right.
Okay.
So I'll say that. So Steph at his prime, when he was having his breakout year and breaking all these different fucking records, I'm taking that guy any day over this Damian Lillard.
Hey, listen, I'm not. Listen. I think if you did a poll of 10 people, I think it'd be like 7-3 Steph,
Okay.
which I don't think is unreasonable. Because I think
It's
people.
not unreasonable.
I think Dame is a better leader because I think he's always had less and he's gotten the most from his team. I've seen Steph Curry not play 20 games and the Warriors win 16 of them. Like it's
Without KD though.
like even their years when that year they won 73 games, they didn't play in most fourth quarters. These boys is over here taking pictures with fans and stuff. Like it was ridiculous. It was getting a little ridiculous. They were the 3-quarter Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Like Clay will drop 25 points in a quarter.
Yeah.
They're over there flipping bottles and he's doing handshakes with his baby and stuff. It got a bit ridiculous.
So would you say Dame is a little I guess not playing style wise, but Dame is mirrors AI a little bit?
I think Dame is no, because AI was a slight. Because Dame's body type is a little stronger. I'm trying to think
But I
who does
mean,
Dame play like.
I mean, like having being a point guard that is literally carrying the team, and like
And so
has a
like,
little bit of help, but not enough to get the
yeah, I
job
was
done.
in that comparison. Yeah, I would say that
Yeah,
because I think Dame's game is a mix of like Kyrie and Russell Westbrook. That's what I see him as. He's smaller than both of them. He doesn't have the ball handling that. Kyrie's the best ball handler I've ever seen.
yeah,
I think he's got a ball in the string, and Kyrie can shoot. He just doesn't shoot from 40.
right.
Dame shoots from 40, effortless. Like it's
Yeah.
not like his wrist just like he's not like it doesn't look like he's even trying that hard. He's pulling up from the logo for real.
But is
But
he?
he but
is
he
better-
will go dunk on you though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's
Kyrie because
that-
Kyrie doesn't dunk on people.
That's very true. Dame
Like,
will
he
go
will-
dunk on you.
He will go dunk on you, and you're like, oh, he can't jump. And he would just
Yeah,
I'm like,
Steph can't
Dame
dunk. Steph can't dunk. He can dunk,
No.
but he like only in
It's
practice,
hard.
only in layup drills. Like
It's hard.
it's hard for him. We've seen it.
It's on fall.
We've seen it twice, and one of the times he fell before he did it.
I remember that.
I remember, but it's crazy because like and I saw on Twitter. I know I threw it back. I saw on Twitter
Sure.
that Kenny was saying like, oh man, Dame better than Steph, and Steph replied immediately. It was like,
Yeah.
Kenny, what are you talking about?
He
Chill
said-
the
he
fuck
said-
out, bro.
Yeah, he said.
Look at my numbers, bro. Look at my
Listen.
numbers.
Listen, Chuck also said Portland would sweep the Lakers. And
Here's the
they're about to lose in 5.
Oh
So,
shit, hold on. Oh, we back? Oh, sorry.
We
okay.
back. We
Yeah. Sorry, you were. Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. I was kind of hoping that as a Warrior fan, like I'm not supposed to like the Lakers at all. And obviously, like the only Bay Area representative that's really doing their thing right now is Damian Lillard. And so I was like, okay, like and obviously I want to see Melo get his, right?
I love Melo, man.
Me too. And so I'm like, oh man, I really, you know what? Chuck's actually onto something. The Blazers are sweeping the Lakers.
It's such a ridiculous thing.
And I knew it probably wasn't going to be true, but I was really on that bat. I was really hopeful. And then I just really started to look at the Lakers roster.
They're just a bunch of big dudes, man.
But
They're just
not
so
even
much
just
bigger than
but
Portland.
not even just big dudes. They're just yes, they're huge, but like they're all like most of them have been all-stars at one point.
It's like veterans, it's champions, it's
It's-
all stars. It's like
LeBron is the greatest GM of all time. Like,
He's got a
I'm
good
literally
team.
looking at the starters, and I was like, bro, just like Draymond said, bro, you started the super team. Like, LeBron's when when LeBron first left the Cavs, ever since then he's always been on a super team.
He's always had at least one, possibly top five dude, or two All Stars. You can do
At
either or.
least I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you got 35-year-old LeBron who is basically just like, I don't know how he does that. He's definitely in like swimming in the fountain of youth. And then you have, Kuzma, who's all star. I mean, I don't know if he an all star this year. If not, he
He
should
wasn't
be.
an All Star, but he's free. He's like a 16, 17 a game. But
Yeah.
AD is an All Star. He's an All NBA dude.
AD, you got
Yeah.
you got Dwight Howard who is reborn. You know what I mean? You got
Danny Green, like a
Danny,
three-time
J.R.
champion, I
J.R.
think.
Smith, who just disappeared and then came back, and he's still J.R. And I'm just like, wait. And then you got a third 7-footer in JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee, champ.
Bro,
JaVale McGee's that dude.
he again, another guy who was born again, and it's just like, bro. And I'm just looking at it, I was like, yeah, there's not like nobody's gonna beat this team, like nobody.
I don't believe that, but I think
Who
thdon't beat Portland.
they're definitely gonna beat Portland, but no,
Yeah,
who's gonna beat the Lakers?
because they're again. I don't know who's going to actually do it. I think the formula to beat
Who
them.
can?
I think the Clippers can, and I
Bro,
think
they're about to get waxed by the Mavs, by Luka. They
Chris
got
Stapps is not.
they
Chris
got
Stapps is not playing a game. It's not playing game 5, which is another big blow. I
Yeah.
think they're gonna just double Luca and just make everybody else beat him.
Yeah.
Because the Clippers are playing the way the Warriors did the KD's last year when they went 6 with the Clippers with no All Star, and they had Patrick Beverly guarding Kevin Durant, and they were like, "What the fuck are the Warriors doing right now?"
Yeah.
And then KD was like, "Let me go drop 40 on y'all
Let me go
real
drop
quick."
40 real quick.
But
Yeah.
it was just like the Warriors were just kind of like him and Han. They didn't really stop Lou Williams at all.
Right.
They were just like, "Oh yeah, we'll see what happens." And they lost 2 games, and it was like, "You guys should not lose to this team ever."
Right.
And they kind of ran through everybody else, and they just said, "Wait a minute, what are we doing?" I think the Clippers have been arrogant. I think Doc Rivers is overrated as a coach. I think Paul George is a ghost right now.
I was gonna
don't
say,
think he's
what's
it.
up with your boy?
Where is he? I
Hey,
don't know where he
look,
is.
I saw something on YouTube saying that it has to do with the fact that Seth Curry married his ex, Callie Rivers, and he's salty about it because he fucked up. He cheated on Callie Rivers for a stripper, and
Well, he's got 2 kids with that stripper now.
and
So
Seth
that's
said,
his girl.
"Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
Callie,
his-
I'm going back to Cali. What's good, bro?"
That's not what he said.
Seth said, "Oh, word. Hey, Callie, you want to marry a real one, a real man who's not gonna cheat on you with a fucking stripper, and then I'm gonna drop buckets on your ex? Is that what you want? Cause I'll do that for you." That's what he said.
I would give you that if Paul George didn't do this exact thing in like the last 3 years. Like if this wasn't a trend for him to just like,
Yeah.
because it's one thing to kind of like Chris Middleton is off a little bit, but he didn't like go from 30 a game to like 10. He went from like 23, 24 a game to like 15, 16.
Yeah.
And then last game he scored 21.
Yeah.
So like he's off, but he's off within the margins. There's a game Paul George scored 9 points and shot 17 times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are we doing right now? You can't be the 8th leading scorer on the team and be the highest paid dude. Like we're not going to do that.
That's
we're not going to do that.
That's
we're
ridiculous.
not going to do that. Like
Give
you
me
can
a jersey. Give me a jersey.
Listen, we're gonna wrap up this pod because you get out of pocket.
No. Okay.
No, we're gonna wrap it up anyway.
We're gonna wrap it up anyway. Yeah.
But we can keep talking off there because I definitely want to get this.
But
off.
either way, man. Either way, like I'm biased. I gotta defend my guy Steph over Dame. But however, like I was even mad at the comparison because I was like, hey, can we just like let Dame shine right now? Like
that's the thing.
He's really doing he's putting the team on his back and he's working his ass off. And we gotta applaud him like that. And Steph's not even playing. Steph's not even playing right now. So like, don't even let him be with his family. And like, let's watch Dame do his thing. So
I'm a fan of Dame. Steph really didn't play this whole year. Like he really wasn't trying to play. He knew what time was.
He knew.
Once Clay was hurt, he's like, all right, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And they got the number 2 pick in the draft, which is absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely
Giannis, we got something for you, bro. Bro, it's happening. I've been telling you, it's happening. We
You
can
think we'll
talk
trade the
about
number
the.
two pick
We can
to
talk.
get
We're going. Oh
Giannis
no, no, no. We're gonna trade. We're gonna trade the number 2 pick.
and
We're gonna
Wiggins?
we're gonna get rid of Dude, I forgot who the fuck is on our team. It's
See,
been
look,
so damn long.
you ain't a real fan.
No, I am. I'm just like, wait, who is? We're keeping Clay. Oh, getting rid of Draymond. We're getting rid of Draymond.
You can just get rid of Draymond like that?
We're gonna trade the number 2 pick and Draymond, and we're gonna get Giannis.
That's not enough for Giannis. You got to trade number two pick, Andrew Wiggins,
Okay.
and
Oh,
Draymond Green.
okay.
Giannis is going a two-time MVP now after this
Okay.
year.
Cool. I'll take him. Take him. Draymond's been causing. Look, I love Draymond. He's my guy. He's the guy who you want on your team, but if he's not on your team, you fucking hate him.
Sure, that's exactly who he is.
And you know what? Like, I'm not gonna lie. He's brought some unnecessary drama. Look. He's
Cost y'all a ring.
he cost us a ring. He's the reason we lost KD. Like,
That's true too.
and so I'm like, you know what? You've put in your time with us.
He's getting old too. Like
He's getting old.
His defense is dropping off, and that's
Yeah.
all he's really great at.
Yeah. So, I'm like, hey, Milwaukee is a little closer to Michigan, where you're from. Like, you might as well just go over there and we'll just get a big bowl of Giannis. Look, bro, we all know Steph Curry has been tampering this whole time. He's just been hitting up Giannis like, hey, man, come on over. And it's happening. It's happening.
But you only get Giannis if they lose if they don't win the championship though. If Milwaukee wins the championship, he's not going anywhere.
They're gonna beat the Lakers. Lakers got that chip on their shoulder.
I don't think Lakers are gonna make it.
What?
I think they're gonna lose to the Clippers.
I don't.
The Clippers have been waiting all year for that matchup. This is all they care about. Like Lakers have been trying to like do the year for Kobe and then for LeBron and AD.
If
The Clippers have been like, we have one agenda. We built our team specifically to beat them.
I'll give you that. If PG doesn't show up, this is Lakers.
Well, no, if PG doesn't show up, they might get beat in 5 because they can't, because AD's showing up at 28 a game, and PG over here dropping a quick 11. Like, we're not gonna do that.
Can't.
We're not gonna do that. Not against that competition, but I think the Clippers bench is better than the Lakers bench, so I think it'll cause LeBron and AD to play more minutes.
Right.
And AD tends to flame out later in games. He gets tired. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
If he's got to play 40 minutes because they can't play the bench, I think as the series goes on, he's gonna just go away, and it'll just be LeBron basically v Kawhi for the most part. Yeah. But Kawhi got Lou Williams. He's got other dudes.
Yeah,
he's like,
they do that.
I don't gotta
they
score.
got that defense.
I could just.
Yeah.
So I think.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
We're getting ahead of ourselves because again, they got to play They may have to play my boy Ball so hard, Russell and James Harden in the second round, and I'm here for it.
I forgot we didn't even mention them.
Because Russell hasn't played yet. He's been hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
But they said he may come back.
We'll see. We'll have to circle back on that one and see. But yeah, I'm just glad basketball's back.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah, I'm just glad basketball's back. I'll just say that.
Everybody is, man.
Yeah.
Happy to have entertainment. But we're gonna wrap now. Where can people find you? Social media, your pod, all that good stuff.
Hey man, I'm just at Everett Daily. I'll probably leave it on the on this little recording, but at Everett Daily. Wait, what is it? At Everett.daily on IG. At Everett Daily, no dot on Twitter, and that's it, bro. Honestly, and this is gonna be up on YouTube, so I think I'm just gonna keep it exclusively on YouTube for now, just because I like seeing these faces.
Hey man.
I'm not in the look. Ain't nobody in the car driving to work anymore, listening to the podcast app right now, at least. So it's like, hey, give you something to watch, give you some good looking dudes to look at. You know what I'm saying? So.
What's happening right now?
Hey, look,
okay.
You know what's happening right now.
I don't. I don't want to be a part of anything that's happening.
But
anywho, guys.
Anyway, where can they find you, bro?
Listen, man, you catch me on social media.
Hey, look, you catch me on the internet, bro.
At Sexy Comedy on Instagram. I have a Twitter. I don't use it, so don't follow me on Twitter.
Okay.
YouTube channel, Unofficial Therapy Podcast. You already know what we're doing. Facebook, Chris Kane, and the comedy show that we talked about, the virtual show.
When's the next show, baby?
It's called Friday Funnies. It is on Zoom. The next show is September 4th, and the information you can get on my Instagram because the Friday show doesn't have its own platform yet. But check out my Instagram. That's where you can find all my information. And then I can give you the link for the show. And then we can kind of make it pop. But Friday Funnies, September 4th, is going to be dope. Instagram, Sexy Comedy, YouTube, Unofficial Therapy Podcast. That's where we at.
Boom. Hey, Chris. Thanks for doing this mashup with me, man, and
Listen,
bringing me back from the dead.
I'm here for it.
You know,
I'm here for it.
I'm excited to do the homie show again. If you want to be a guest, honestly, like
Bro, I'm always down.
not even just. Oh, I wasn't even just talking. I know you're always down, and I
gotcha.
appreciate that shit because you're a real homie. So you have a home here on the homie show. I'm also talking about anybody who's watching this, and if they want to, like, if they have anything that they want to talk about, get shit off their chest, hit me up, bro. Hit me up on IG. Slide my DMs. Like, we can literally just shoot the shit. I got that premium Zoom, so I'm paying for it, so I gotta use it. That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, oh, you want to send me a Zoom link? Okay, you must got that premium too.
How do I run a show without it?
Hey, that's real. That's real. Yeah, I got a few other things that I'm like running to, so I gotta have it for school.
We'll get into
We'll
that.
get into that. But anyway, you want to close it out? You got it.
I do.
Okay, no, but I mean, like, do you have like an outro? Like,
oh no, I just say thank y'all for tuning in. Tell your friends, share. Thank you for all the support. We'll see you guys next time.
thank y'all for tuning into the homie show. All right, catch.